The Quick Diz Takes podcast is a Quick Diz Takes production.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner.
Oh boy. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Quick Diz Takes podcast, episode number 68. I am your host, Tim LeBeau, alongside, as per usual, Mr. John Castano.
Hello.
Mr. Stephen Lanzi.
Hi-ho.
And Mrs. Sarah Castano.
Hey, howdy, hey.
If you're new to the show, please like, share, and subscribe, and spread the word to your friends if you enjoy us. If you're not new to the show and you haven't done so, please like, share, and subscribe, and spread the news to your friends if you like the show. And before we get going today, I guess we got to give us, we spoke about it on what will be last week's episode by the time this comes out, but we have, even though we are on episode 68 here this evening, we have now published over 100 episodes on Quick Diz Takes. So just wanted to say thanks to everyone for being on the show and helping out, and thanks to everyone for listening. Our podcast numbers get better by the week. I know this because I check them constantly. And so, yeah, thanks a lot. And, I guess here's to another 100, hopefully. Also, thanks for the support on the channel for the new Peter Van video that I posted last week. It's the first video I posted since the Tron video, and we got quite the reception there. So hopefully maybe we'll get over 10,000 views in that bad boy. We are well over 5,000 now. And also apparently everyone is on board with the idea that Peter Pan is not worth the way. I have not gotten an argument or a thumbs down on that idea yet. And I've gotten a few DMs on Twitter of everyone saying, well said, couldn't agree more. So there you have it. Peter Pan, I'm sorry, but as I say in the video, are you going to wait in line? Are you going to go on a ride where the line is actually longer than the film itself? Because you could just go back to the room after and watch it. At that point, when we wait in a line a half hour longer than the movie, then watch the 2-minute condensed version of the movie. Just seems a little bit counterproductive. Anyway, kind of a simple format this week. We've been talking about virtual queues and all the Disney price hikes and stuff, and I figured this week, instead of getting mad about it, I'm gonna just see what everyone kind of thinks could be done alternatively to what Disney's doing to get to deal with these crowd situations I guess they're dealing with due to COVID and post-COVID. Well, not really post-COVID yet, but you know what I mean. And then the demand that they're seeing with capacity going back up to normal, and people having stimulus money, I guess, sitting there waiting to spend it, or whatever's causing people, or just being, too much cabin fever, but just everyone seems to want to go to Disney more than ever. So we'll talk about that. We will eliminate an attraction, and we will put Vin Diesel in a Disney attraction because he is such an eclectic, well-versed, well-rounded actor that he is. I just can't imagine. We might be sitting here for hours talking about it.
One of today's greatest thespians.
Yeah, well, he certainly seems wrong to use the word thespian in front of his name. But hey, you know what? The guy could buy me. He's got so much money, so good for him. Anyway, I'm going to leave the floor open. Does anybody want to start with any ideas they might have for Disney to handle these crowds and, get people on rides, or not charge them thousands or hundreds of dollars per family to experience their offerings?
So I had an idea. And so I know we had spoken about, crowd control that does not put the cost back on the guests. So I know and then our news, we've been talking a lot about the paid fast passes that are happening over in Paris and in Shanghai and how that works. And I'm going to say we're going to scratch that. We're going to go back to the regular fast passes where we can keep the tiered system. I'm not upset about the tier system. I get why they do it. But instead of one tier one, two tier twos, or whatever, I would think of it more of like taking your park, dividing it into a clock face, and every couple hours, you're going to strategically place your fast passes. So say you're going to start with the 12 and 6. That's where you want guests to go. You want to draw the guests to those places of the park. So you're going, instead of every ride getting, say, 200 fast passes for the hour, those two spots, your 12 and 6, are going to get 300 fast passes for that hour or 2 hours. And then the others will only have 100. So if you can't grab a fast pass, either you're going to suck it up and stand in line, or you're going to go where there is a fast pass available. And then at the end of that block, you're going to skip a clock and you're going to go to the next hour. So you're going to do their 3 and 9. They're going to get the 300 fast passes. The rest of the park gets the 100. By this point, you're moving people throughout the park. You're kind of controlling where the crowds are going. And because they're going across the park for the next fast pass, theoretically, they're going by all your snack carts. They're going through your balloon person, your kiosks with the pins. You're going by restaurants and other rides and attractions. So you're getting movement throughout the park. You're getting people to go by and possibly buy other snacks and souvenirs. But you're also controlling where the crowds are instead of just at this spot the whole time. And there will be people who wait in the standby. I get that. But I was just thinking if they could take their fast pass system and just kind of structure a little bit more to control where the majority of people are going to be. You could time it around your parades if you'd like. If you could time it around cavalcades, since we don't have full parades, that's fine. But just be mindful of where the crowds are going to be drawn to, where the availability for people to be will be at, and kind of shift it around the park so you don't just have blobs of people everywhere.
I like it. I'll tell you what, I like it. So far, we're 1 for 1 on ideas that are better than what they have going now. Johnny, what did you come up with on this?
As the only true way, which will never happen, is Disney just has to not affect the consumer. Disney just has to cut down capacity for them, but they'll never do. So that's my only realistic way I think it can happen. But maybe they could bring you take ticket prices and you drop like what is like $150 a day on average, I guess we could say. So you drop that ticket price, and every ticket you just make every ticket $50 to $75 a day, and then you bring back ride ticket books where you get your ABCD, you get all the attractions, and just use that as a way to, just spread, you'd spread people around. You only have a couple of the higher tier ones, and the rest of the lower, you try to spread it around that way. And then maybe Disney gets a little bit of what they want, where you're still getting, the ticket money that you're sort of getting paid fast passes, not fast pass, but you're getting paid passes in I guess, like, so people are paying to ride rides like it was when it first opened. I don't know if that, but then the only trouble I see is, well, I guess you'd have to keep it as you can't just buy like the higher ticket attractions. You have to buy the whole ticket book, I guess. So you still have to ride your lower tier attraction if you want to get your money. So you can't just pay to ride Pirates or Space Mountain or whatever, the higher, or Seven Dwarfs. You have to use it all. So it could be a way people get in the park, and some people everybody runs to the higher tier ones, and you meander and use your lower tier ones, and then use your e-tickets at the end of the day or whatever. I think it could spread it around a little more, and you're still getting people to pay for the attraction, but you're lowering the ticket price, so it feels, I don't know, maybe it can feel more even out to the consumer. You should be like, oh, I'm getting in for cheaper, and you ride what you ride. guess.
I was kind of thinking along the same lines. I was thinking like, could we just implement a fast pass system the way we had it, but then make it, maybe you get like 6 of them and they're labeled on levels. So you get one e-ticket, fast pass. And if you want, you can take your, I did a video on Seven Dwarfs on the channel. If anyone's listening that wants to get a better reference to this, but I explain it. I did more research at the time. I explained how it used to work. You used to be able to like, you could combine like B, C, and D, or B and C and get an A. Like you can, if you didn't want to use a lesser attraction, you could couple them together to get another another E attraction. So maybe like almost like a credit system in your phone, and kind of let people choose as they go. I mean, obviously, the standby is going to have to be understanding of this because it's going to be for everyone, and then because it might be a little bit long with the standbys the way this goes, but you can also still, you know, kind of do the math and figure out the time slots that are available. So you come into the Magic Kingdom and you want to use one for Splash Mountain, and then you want to use the B, C, and D option, or whatever you got to do to get another E, and then use it for Space Mountain. You know, that's your prerogative, but you have to then wait out other rides, or however you choose to do it. It just gives people more flexibility without raising prices. Once again, that's something you have to see unfold, of course. And then no one really touched on it, but the virtual queue situation, which is what drives me nuts the most. Same idea. Like they're just gonna have to me, the only way to solve that problem is to just let them queue that line up. I can't see any other way around it. And then offer fast passes, or offer the same idea and until they fill up, and then a queue line, and you just kind of roll dice, but at least it's up to the person. Like when you walk in with your family, it's up to you how you're going to handle this. Whereas, like I said before, without getting angry, when they put you in a virtual queue, you do or you don't. It's not even your control, really. You do your best, and then you're kind of either really in luck or SOL. And so I think they need to look into things like that. I mean, they're obviously not going to take any of these ideas because none of them offer the idea of making any more money on their product. But like I said before, it's pretty sad. It's like going to a restaurant, ordering something on the menu, and then, you know, them raising the price on you when you get there, even though you've already paid for the offering before you get there or before it came to you. So shouldn't see either way, but I think one of those 3 ideas, and I'm sure whatever Steven has to say, also going to be better than what Disney offers right now. So we will refer to Steven now for his idea on the parks.
I think you're overselling how good my idea is.
It can't be worse than theirs.
I mean, look, so we're talking about prices and we're talking about crowd sizes. Okay. The only thing, I'm really not that creative when it comes to this stuff. The only thing I kind of thought about is, what really packs in the crowd usually are these huge groups. Like there'll be a 30-minute wait on Rock and Roller Coaster. Here comes a sea of purple shirts, right? And they all got the big sign in the front. Okay, everyone. It's like, okay, so because this, youth minister with an army decided to come in, it was going from a 30-minute wait to a 90. So the only thing I could come up with to help control crowds is that these large groups are only allowed at certain weeks of the year. That's it. Meaning this week in February, not a February vacation, but like this February, the first week in February, this whatever in March, whatever it is, only those groups, so the Brazilian cheerleading team, and the Louisiana marching band, they can only go in these weeks of the year. And I think, and at least this way here, you funnel them to certain times. And then the summer, for the most part, would be, open. I think that would alleviate some of the crowds. Just because, again, and now, it used to be, back in the day, before everything was on the phone, you could, you could see a ride that had a 15-minute wait, right? And it's like, oh, we found it, 15 minutes, and would go do it. Now everyone knows that there's a 15-minute wait, and within 30 seconds you have a bunch of people. So, I mean, I would say for the crowd, that would be my one recommendation for the crowd. As far as ticket prices, I don't think they need, I don't think there needs to be a mechanism to lower prices. They're Disney. They could lower prices tomorrow if they wanted to still make billions of dollars. So I just think at that point, it's really on them. I don't think there's really anything, a mechanism. I mean, I'd rather maybe you add $1 to every drink or something, and that compensates. But I mean, it's getting to a point where, middle-class families can't really go to Disney. And I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for my military discount, I would not have gone as many times as I have. And even that discount is shrinking. Every year we get less and less and less.
It is a great discount though. My mom gets it, and it's significant though. When you have like a family like my size, or Johnny and Sarah, it's start saving some big bucks. I have
a friend who has literally stayed in the reserves only for that very purpose. She's like, when my kids get older and don't want to go, and it's time to leave, I'm out. She goes, I'm literally staying so I can take my kids to Disney.
So it's a 200. Last I checked, and Lindsay might know better than I do now. But the last time I went with my mom was 2019. It was $259 for a 5-day park hopper per person, which is compared to what I want to say $500 maybe in real price.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't looked in a while. I can look it up really quick and see what the military prices are. It used to be about half. They used to be half of whatever people. Now, again, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying that prices continue to go up for everyone.
That's kind of why, like, when I was thinking about my kind of suggestion, it's moving people throughout the park to get to those, and you're crossing snacks, you're crossing, kiosks with balloons or souvenirs or something, or maybe you have a dining reservation, so they're not going to go for the next fast pass, so you're pulling a crowd in that way, or there's a show. There's other things to kind of eat people along the way, but because they're crossing back and forth by other things, the likelihood of them making a purchase is greater than them just standing in one spot or just moving to the next queue.
So, I mean,
like I would need to do the science on that.
You know what what makes Disney so unique is that almost any age can go on any ride. And I really saw this. I recently went to Hershey Park, and you really see, that the old school, you have Kiddieland, and then you have the rides for everyone else, right? You have the mini scrambler, which is the funniest thing, right? This is this little, I mean, like, I'd break it. Disney's really unique where almost anybody can go on these rides. So there's not even a separation of, a lot of the smaller kids going to these rides as Kiddieland, and because they can do really most of the main ones as well. I mean, you could try to add a few more things in downtown Disney Springs, and try to have more people spend a day there a little bit, but minus adding rides or refurbing old rides that don't draw a crowd, I don't see a way of knocking down the wait times, crowd in general. As far as the prices, I mean, what else are they going to raise?
Don't ask that question.
I'm spending, go to the Polynesian, you get a drink, it's $18. Like the one thing you never see in Disney is a drunk person, because I don't think people could afford it. It's if somebody gets drunk in Disney, I'm pretty sure they brought some in. I'm pretty sure that was not just orange juice, in their little tumbler there.
Well, the big problem is too, like they face versus other places. You mentioned Hershey Park. You don't what other amusement park do you go to for a week? So if you go to Hershey, for example, and they want to charge you, I'm not saying you would do this, but say you're a family and they want to charge you $80 for the day and you can walk on all the rides. Oh, I'm there for a day. That might be worth it. That might not be a big deal. I have that money. I'm going to spend that. But Now you're talking $8 a person per ride, per day, per whatever ride you're going to ride a day. You know, times
person
6 or 7
per ride.
days, times $159. I think I spent last time to get into the park. It's like, okay. And they don't even give you a break. Like I remember I went with my father. He's really never been before, and he's like, and the day we went was $159 for those tickets. And he was like, and we went to Epcot, and he was like, $159 for this? He's like, right now with all this construction, how can they compare this to like Magic Kingdom? Or how can it all be the same price? They don't even give you a break on that. Like, oh, we got a little bit of heavy construction going on over here. Maybe we'll lower a little bit. Nope. You know why they don't? Because I could barely get a reservation.
Well, that's the thing.
They'll pay for it. Yep.
People will say, why don't they drop their prices? What is their motivation?
Yeah, there's none.
People are paying the price right now, so why would they drop it?
Exactly.
Capitalism.
And what I feel bad for, I mean, I feel bad for parents who, you know, this trip was 2, maybe 3 years in the making, right, of saving money. And look, I think I'm the only non-parent on the panel, but you know, I've worked in education for about a decade, and especially little kids, sometimes they wake up, it's a bad day. Why? So here you are spending all this money, and your kid is just a meltdown Monday. Why? Because they're kids. Because he's 5 or she's 5. You know, they're 5, 6, whatever it is. You know, 13, whatever. You know, it's just a meltdown day, and you just spent all this money. And I think those are the people that I really, truly feel bad for, because they spent all this money. Again, 3 years of saving, but they're kids, and that's what happens.
Yeah, I love Disney, of course. Obviously, it's why we're doing this. But when you start dissecting it, it's like it's not your typical vacation.
No,
you know? It's not. It's not like get there and relax. It's not really how that happens there.
Right. So now, especially as we get older, right, and as you get older, your life seems to get a little louder. If you're going to spend $2,000 or more, right, on this vacation, now you start thinking to yourself, for the same money, I can go on a cruise to the Bahamas, all inclusive, eat, drink to my heart's delight, literally have a bar in the pool, you know, and whatever I drink at that bar is already covered. So it just it's going to make, I think, a lot of people look at other vacations if it's just too expensive.
I mean, when you think about a cruise, that's your transportation, your lodging, your dining, your entertainment. It's, I mean, aside from getting to the cruise port, but it's astronomical. And you, like you were saying before, you spend a week at Disney. If you spent a week in New Hampshire, or a week in Vermont or whatever, you're going to different places within that state. You're trying new restaurants. You're, you know, walking around, or you're camping or something. But this is literally an amusement park for a week. You can't do a week at Canopy Lake. You can't do a week at, you know, Six Flags. I mean, you maybe do a couple days depending on which one you're at, but like you can't do a week at Knott's Berry Farm. I mean, I've never been, but I don't see people booking a week there. And I don't see people from other countries coming over to spend 2 weeks at a Canopy Lake or something. Like it's like a league of its own.
That's a big part of it is also the international. Where else, minus New York City, which is a city, not a park, where else draws that kind of international?
No one. It's the number 1 tourist attraction in the entire world.
Yeah. So
people don't realize that's the number 1 tourist attraction in the entire world.
I
and they are around the world.
Yeah. I'm just talking about that particular one though in Florida.
I know.
Number 1. That's crazy.
Honestly,
it's not even the original.
I know.
Honestly, at this point, I just believe that any ticket price, any rises in ticket pricing is literally, I love Disney, it's literally just Disney going, let's see if they pay for it. Let's see if they pay it. And then they do it. And then capacity, to capacity. Oh, they went for it. All right, let's see if they go. Honestly, I think it's just they're just gonna keep going until they get to that point where attendance drops enough for them to say, okay, well, that's the limit.
Yep. It's like I said, I think I'm going to say it in the news. What's happening for me is I'm starting to look at it like it's going to start becoming like a 3-day trip and then just bounce around Florida. And I think honestly, it's plenty anyway. If you really, because I go hard when I go, like I'm ready, like I get up, I go all day. So if I do 3 days, I can get quite a bit in.
Rope drop to kiss goodnight. That's how we roll.
And I'm savvy with the app and things like that. So you can get it done.
I know a few people that have started doing that where they do a Florida trip more than a concentrated Disney trip. They don't go into the bubble. So they stay off property for $100 a night. So right there, the kitchen.
Yeah, way better.
They stay off property. They get a rental car so they can go wherever they want. They do maybe 3 days of the park, and then they enjoy whatever else Florida has, that per their interests.
Which is a ton more.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good places. So I know people who are doing that too, who to save money are just not going into that Disney bubble.
Yep, and maybe that's a good thing. I mean, maybe that's what Disney wants in a way. The more families are doing 3-day trips, the more families are coming in.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they're saying. Like our product isn't made for. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but if you're not really, really wealthy, it's just not made for you to be coming here 7 days with a family of 5.
Well, you said
I don't know.
You said that there was construction going on, and to me, it's kind of like also like for sports fans, right? Like so, especially anyone who's a Boston Red Sox fan. You've been paying a lot for a ticket forever, and that's why when the team stinks, it's kind of like I'm overpaying to see a baseball game in my team, and then they won't sign this free agent. Where's my money going? And for Disney, you're paying all this money, and you're like, okay, well, no news on a 5th park, on another park. You're not refurbing all of these rides that, if you did, would start siphoning some of these wait times. It wouldn't be perfect, but it would be like we've talked about Lilo and Stitch or the Stitch ride, whatever, Alien Stitch, I don't care.
Yeah.
Where's that fix? I mean, we're paying all this money. Refurb the old rides, disperse the crowd more, and start putting new stuff. I think the fact that Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, the fact that still has an over-hour wait on the average just shows how starved a lot of people are for new rides.
And there's a lot to do in Magic Kingdom. I think that's the most attraction-heavy park. There's tons of stuff. It's not just shows. A lot of the other parks, I feel, try to compensate for the lack of rides by having stage shows and having, all these other little things. But Magic Kingdom actually has a ton of stuff. And they do have like the little Pete Silly Side Circus, which is kind of geared towards the little guys. But they also have everything else. Like there's so much in that one park. And the fact that there's empty spots throughout the park, like what's Stitch stays empty and other spots stay empty. Like there's something missing. There needs to be, and like you're saying, there's a need for rides. If people are going, if it's still over an hour for Seven Dwarfs, we need to be putting in more things.
Disney will always be family based in a way, but there's certainly an element of it getting away from being family based with some of the attractions like Guardians and stuff like that. Because if you go on like the annual pass holder group on Facebook or any group on Facebook anymore, more and more people who are just like maybe couples or just going like with a group of friends, those prices really are targeted at those people too. Like there was a whole childless millennial debate going on a couple of years ago. And it's like, I think Disney loves that because when I went last time, my aunt and I just went down to see my dad. So it was just us too. So whatever I paid was just for myself. And so if we walked into a park and it was like, oh, pay $12 extra and just walk on Flight of Passage. Well, when you're by yourself with a group of friends, that $12 seems like nothing. Yeah, I'll pay that. no line, great. So they get it from that end. It's more the family thing. You know, when you start multiplying, okay, so if you're a family of 4, that's $48, and then times 6, 7 different attractions throughout the week, and a gazillion dollars for food, and you flew here.
Maybe they should tier it. Maybe they should have more price tiers for different ages.
Well, that's the other thing. They used to tier the prices a bit for season, but they're not. Now they're keeping the reservation. The theory is now they're going to keep the reservation system that they used for COVID, so they can no longer have a slow season. They can just dictate who gets in the park at what time, so people will just spread out over the year, and they'll never have a slower peak. It will just be continuous guests, controlled.
And we've talked about their use of festivals and events to kind of pull people in too. They're not foolish when it comes to that. They know when they had a lull, and they would create an event at that time to bring people in.
And then COVID taught them the rest. COVID taught them a quick lesson. The reservation system's ideal.
And we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier in the podcasting, repertoire, on how I think they had a lot of things in place that maybe they weren't quite ready to phrase and to put out in front of people because of backlash or disapproval or whatever. And COVID was a nice, neat little way to clean all that up and to take the pressure off them. And they said, we're putting this in place because of COVID. And yes, absolutely, we need protocols in for COVID. But now that's just going to stay. But that was kind of their plan to begin with.
Yeah, and
we talked about that with the technology piece and the virtual queue. We talked about a lot of that.
And the more we think about the reservations, the more I think it makes perfect sense to just disperse everything they need. They can just control the numbers all through the year. No peak, no high staffing, no need for high staffing this part of the year or that part of the year. Just continuous cash flow every day. You can't, I heard you can't even I know you can't book out into October, and granted it is the 50th anniversary, but I think it's even beyond that. It's tough to get reservations with people complaining about. Anyway, I have not been trying to do it myself. I know even when I went in May, I had to finagle on and off every other day until I could get what I wanted. And I think I just got lucky because the restrictions kind of came down right then. So some reservations popped open and I got them. But yeah, it was not easy. But at the same time, it controls, now they can just look at everything, know what they need, how they need the staff, because it controls their payroll, and they still get it way, they can balance ratio of customers to what they need to pay, make a nice solid bottom line, end the story. And it's one of those things where I can complain about it, but I can't fault them for it at the same time. It's just one of those weird combinations. But before we go on and on about this, we also talked about before the show, or Sarah had brought up, in some show notes discussion that we should talk about some enhancements to the park. And let's do that real quick. So I'll start. I think, how they have the relaxation stations during COVID? Can we get designated relaxation stations permanently in each park? But with this little caveat, they're indoor. There's no food there. This is just for people to go and relax. There's no how sometimes you go into a restaurant to get away from the heat or whatever, but some people are just sitting and you can't sit because you have food and they're just sitting. Let's eliminate that. If you're not ordering food, you're not in the restaurant. And then you go, or at least with someone that is. The relaxation station is built. It's AC. It's just a place to go, drink your bottled water, sit down with your family somewhere for whatever amount of time you want. And it's just a big building, kind of like the one they have. What's the name of that little pavilion they have off to the side in Epcot there? Pavilion. What is it? World. Yeah, something like that. I can't think of the exact name.
I know the name of it because I can never think of it. He knows the what?
It's not coming to my head.
Yeah, I don't know.
World Show Place.
Yes.
Place. That's right.
And that's out there. That's like a perfect place for that, And then you know what? You don't want to build a ride in Stitch? Use it for that for now.
Use Stitch as a relaxation area.
They need that's my enhancement. I think it's a good one. I think people could use that. And then
the tiki room.
What is it?
Or the tiki room.
Yeah. Well, if you have one or two, say you have one on each side of each park, when you get those downpours in Florida, there's a place to go for those, a little bit of, instead of going to
tiki entertainment.
Instead of going to the tiki room to seek shelter, as Stephen once said, you can go to.
So, Lindsay, if I FaceTime you in like a week, make sure you answer, okay?
Something tells me I know where she's gonna be.
Well, I don't have an.
Anyway,
I don't have an iPhone, so FaceTime would be a little difficult.
Yeah, Facebook Messenger, I'll make it
how
happen.
convenient.
Facebook Messenger.
You know, the thing is, I don't even mind the song. The song
all right.
song's great. It's the attraction.
Well, she's gonna give you a close up of the bird's mouth.
I'm gonna hang out with Fritz.
You're gonna hear. You're just gonna hear.
Plastic bird.
Click, 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 click.
Anyway,
Back to
All
a
right.
happy show.
who's got an enhancement? Who's got an enhancement?
Yeah, along with the thing about they really do need to put somebody at the entrances to, quick service seat that with the don't allow people just to sit there if you're not eating. I like that they were doing that. That was one good thing during COVID. They wouldn't let you in unless you had food.
Oh, it drives me nuts when you stand there with a kid and like 5 adults are sitting at a table. You're like, come on, man.
Just
You know
sitting
what I
there
mean?
drinking water. I just needed a break.
It drives me nuts.
And then same thing with like with the parade, not parades, with like the fireworks. When people like,
I know what you're talking
if people want to sit there for an hour before the fireworks, fine, that's on them. But then those people have been sitting there waiting to get a good, and then people just walk right in front of them at the end.
I know, it's nuts.
It's like, and then you're like trying to be the nice person by not like, I'm not going to put my kid on my shoulders because I don't want to put the people behind me who have possibly been waiting too. Yeah, but then people just jump in front of you, and then you're like, well, these people just did, so now I'm going to pick my kid up and I'm going to be, I'm going to be a jerk to the people behind me. I just don't. And then along with those people who FaceTime somebody with the stupid, you're FaceTiming fireworks to people like, I don't, why would I want to watch fireworks on a FaceTime thing? Like, what?
So you're not gonna wait a minute. I
Same
thought Sarah
people-
just said she was gonna FaceTime Steven from an attraction.
Well, that's just the aggravating part. And the same thing
Angry
with
Sarah may have come out a couple years ago with this exact scenario that Johnny's describing, and
Oh,
It
no,
was
it's
not pretty.
It's nuts. So Tim Tracker talked about it in his video when him and Jen went to Tokyo. Tokyo has a solution. Everybody
sits, yes.
and
Yes.
it apparently works very well.
Yeah. The same thing with
well,
recording fireworks.
consideration.
Do not. Why are you recording a fireworks show? There's a Disney. Go on Disney's YouTube. They've done it and they're doing it. It'll be
Yeah,
1,000
not gonna
times
get any
better.
better. Yeah.
1,000 times better than your version.
And I just want to throw out there, kind of piggyback off 4th of July across the world. Well, let me rephrase that. 4th of July across the country.
I was gonna say what?
I'm tired.
Well, if you go by Independence Day, it's everyone's Independence Day now.
Yes. So people record their fireworks, their local fireworks display, and they put it on Facebook, or they Facebook Live, they live stream it. When you go on your Facebook later that night or the next day and you see, does anybody actually watch them?
Every one of them.
No. Timothy.
I watch them go by as I scroll. Goodbye. That's dumb.
Like, I used to do like, oh, it's so pretty. Like, and now I'm watching the show through my phone instead of enjoying the moment and the presence of being there. And I will never watch this again. Why? Because what Johnny just said, there's a YouTube channel and it's much better quality. And I can share this on my TV with lots of people.
And I don't even know if I want to watch that. I think I might just want to wait till I'm there and whenever that is.
Well, we did it during COVID. We did a Drink Around the World showcase in our from our living room.
Well, that makes
So
sense.
a little different, but still, you can't get to the park, throw it on YouTube.
And also bring back, I don't know why they got rid of them. Bring back especially for queues that are outside, bring back the fans and the misters.
Mister.
Just like, it's a nice,
And you know what else?
It's something. Especially like Slinky Dog, where they took them forever to put the stupid umbrellas up. Put
Yeah.
little misters and theme them to sprinklers for the backyard. You can just to cool people down.
Disney needs to take their high quality, videography that they use on things like promos for the ride on commercials and, the aforementioned fireworks, and do a ride through. It's over now. Your rides there's no secret to your rides. Everyone's doing ride throughs. So now just take it up. Now you just do the ride throughs, make them way better. And just so I don't have to watch amateur videos of ride throughs are a different thing. We need ride throughs. There's people that don't live in Disney parks and might need to see grand openings and things like that. We have to have the ride throughs.
Now, is that going to be a paid YouTube channel?
Nah,
Probably.
I'd pay it.
I know.
I'd probably pay for that. But ride-throughs are like my life. Like when it comes to this stuff, like Johnny and I always talked about in the past.
Mhm.
Rides open, I got to go on and see it.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
waiting.
know.
I want to see what's going on.
Right.
And we
Yep.
can't be there all the time. Barely any of the time. So anyway, Steven, you have an enhancement for us?
So I was going to mention the misters because like Hershey had them, the fans going and it's
Mhm.
hot and they help. Actually, one thing I would say is, some of these rides are based on obviously movies. So while we're standing in line, show us the movie. I mean, have TVs
That's a good idea.
during the line. And now I understand this one downside to doing that. Again, I mean, I have nephews, and so I've spent some time with kids, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a few kids that it's like, okay, time to go on the ride, no, and they want to stay and watch the movie.
Movie.
Great, I'm still bored, so I don't care. But yeah, I mean, Little Mermaid ride, show us the movie. I mean, at least something to keep at least something that helps,
Distract.
pass the time. And so I think that'd be a good
put Disney, have a Disney Plus in every hotel room, so you watch it, and then we can finish it back at the hotel room.
Perfect.
Exactly. And when it comes to Aerosmith, which is obviously not a movie, all right, put the concert up. I mean, some concert they did back in 1988. Cool. Just they can do more while we're waiting in line, because I don't know anyone else, but yeah, phones are great, but because everything now is through your phone. I mean, you're in the park for like 12 hours. I mean, my battery is not going to last 12 hours. So I think less phone usage, and like I said, again, put TVs, put something that for us to watch, listen to, make it more enjoyable. So yeah, I would say that would be for me, that'd be a good thing.
And considering that, as I pointed out in the video this past week, the Peter Pan line is a lot of times longer than the movie itself. You can watch the entire full-length movie, and then if you've never seen it before, you'd be ready to go when you get on that ride.
By the time you get inside to the interactive queue, you'll know what everything is.
Yeah.
One more thing, with some of these rides, especially the ones that are known for being a excessive weight, can you put a bench? Just a long bench, just along the wall, and just so. I'm old. I want to sit down, and even kids. Kids are sitting on the dirty ground, because their legs are so tired. That's why I get angry if I see a kid crying. He's in a stroller. I'm like, you get to sit down in a comfortable stroller. Let me tell you, if anyone's going to cry,
this guy wants to be in a stroller.
if anybody has a right to be mad right now, it's me, because I slept and the pillow was not my pillow. I can't move my neck to the left, and so you get to sleep. And so I think more TVs and stuff that we can watch while we're in line, and just a long bench that we can cut, and we can all sit down and all just kind of keep scooting. I think that'd be a benefit.
Now that you mentioned that, I never really thought about that, but I am shocked that they haven't done that. Even if it's just like a loop of like 20 minutes of Disney commercials for things on Disney Plus and whatever. I'm surprised they don't have it.
Well,
because they love to push their products. We know that.
I shy away from saying, give us a loop just because of Sci-Fi Diner, and it's like, oh God, just show me the movie. Like I can't do the same previews again.
Yeah, they gotta fix that.
Yeah, so but anything, just you're on the Little Mermaid ride. Show me Little Mermaid. You're on Beauty and the Beast,
or throw the sequel on there.
Sorry.
Show me the in-room suggestions for all the whatever that thing is they show you in the room, all the attractions around the park. Even if they just had that, so like you're on Little Mermaid, and then like they're showing you stuff other things that are around the Magic Kingdom. For us, it's not
Like
a
an
big deal.
interactive park map type thing. Yeah.
People that never been there might like that.
Well, so so someone just tell me that on Disney
still like
Plus, Disney Plus is a series was Behind the Ride.
Oh,
or
it's
something.
awesome.
Behind the attractions.
It's awesome.
Okay, so Tower of Terror, obviously, it doesn't have a movie corresponding to it, as far as I know, right?
It does.
It does.
TV.
Made for TV. Steve Gutenberg, baby. Kirsten
Okay,
Dunst.
so
Kirsten Dunst. Jan from The Office.
maybe we won't show that one.
Jan
No,
Levinson Gould.
okay, fine. Throw it in the rotation. But in between, after that, though, to break it up, show the episode of Behind the Attraction of how this ride that you are going to go on, became a thing. And again, I think number one, it's a great plug for Disney Plus because whatever you don't finish, you may be like, I want to go finish that. Also, the kids have something to watch, and the big kids have something to watch. So, I think those would be my biggest. And maybe if you know the rides along, get the guy who does like the sports games where they have like all the drinks and everything. Because let me tell you, there's times I'm in line at Rock and Roller Coaster, I could use a beer. So send the beer guy. Beer here. Coors Light, Bud Light.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I think
make a killing.
Right? Popcorn, beer, ice cream.
Halfway in the queue, put one there, just a station.
Yeah, just like at a ball game, have the guys, with the carrying around their neck, and I'm telling you, I'll drink a beer if I'm waiting 90 minutes for a ride.
Yep, agreed. A lot of times I try to time it where I grab a beer and get in the line. But yeah. Also, side note before we get to Sarah's, Scarlett Johansson has signed on to at least produce a new Tower of Terror movie, so we're getting something there. I think this is going to be the disconnect from the Twilight Zone theme, if I had to guess.
Probably.
But anyway,
so my enhancement. I've seen a lot of posts this week that's kind of annoying and upsetting, but people just leaving their trash in the line, especially when Disney is so good about putting barrels everywhere. So I was thinking back to the interview with Andy and how, first of all, I adore him and I miss him being around here, but I never knew that their shifts were an hour here and then you relieve someone. They said, okay, relieve someone in this station or in this position. And so I was thinking you could do that before you leave your ride. You do a quick walk through, just grab any trash, because it's every hour, I think he said. You're not in one spot for 8 hours a day. You're here for an hour, then you're here, then so it rotates. So at the end of your shift at that ride, you go through the ride line, grab trash, throw it in a barrel, leave it. It goes through the utilidors. We don't see it anymore before he moves on to the next position. And so every ride could just do that once an hour, and then stuff doesn't build up and it's not dirty and gross and annoying.
Johnny and I interviewed Lynn Barron, and he spoke about the the custodial had someone that was specifically assigned to lines to go through and sweep through these lines. But he said that, I think he said something about that might not be the same thing anymore. And I'm pretty much sure that's right, because how often do you ever see, you never see anybody in there sweeping out lines anymore. Like Sarah says, it's a lot messier. And that's why I said about the quality last time we talked about it. The quality is like, it's still quality, but it's like not quite what Disney quality was back in the day. It's really not. The bathrooms, if we went there and specifically looked for bathrooms that weren't that great, we could find them that were like not as cleanly as they used to be. And
I have to say, with COVID, when we went last July, shortly after they had reopened, it was immaculate. I mean, they also had a part closed. They could really do that deep clean. And like we were over getting our Dole Whip, and there was a woman who was just cleaning like where people lean. Or maybe they like leaned back against it, like no part of their skin touched it, but she wiped it. Stuff you wouldn't think that would be wiped down was, and that's awesome. But in this video, I think it was for Splash Mountain, and if anybody's seen it, let me know. It was like a 3-minute video as this woman meandered through, and it was like water bottles, trash, soda cups, and it was like the length of the whole, windowsill, and it went for 3 minutes, and there was there were barrels. The barrels were overflowing. I mean, the barrels are there for a reason. Why do people
do that, though? I don't understand it. People are slobs. I go to the golf course and people do. I go to beautiful golf courses and people leave bottles on the side of the fairway. What are you doing?
No, there's no need for that.
So
Don't be a jerk.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
So just kind of that end of the shift, sweep through the attraction line. This way you guarantee it's done at least once an hour. Maybe more if it's a lot of people. I don't know. But the other thing I just thought of when Lindsay brought up having those screens, I know we talked a while ago about they had the Genie app or the My Genie experience. It was supposed to replace and it was supposed to theme your day. So if you like roller coasters, if you like XYZ, and it kind of puts that together. I don't know if they still have that technology or blueprint for the plan or whatever. But if they could utilize that, so say you're in line for Rock and Roller Coaster and they could say, hey, if this is something you really enjoy, check out XYZ ride. Or if you're at the Beauty and the Beast stage show, hey, have you checked out Frozen Ever After Sing Along? And they could kind of group your day like that. Like if you really enjoyed this, make sure you hit this afterwards. Or while you're waiting in line, have a snack just outside, things like that. And it promotes other stuff in the park and maybe you never would have signed it before.
I just have a really quick question for just really quick on your. So because we're talking about groups and stuff, and one of the worst things I can't stand it when groups go through the single rider line, because so often in Disney I've been a legit single rider. I was single in my personal life. I was the only one there. I had my own room. I was the epitome of single rider, and I'm seeing this couple it doesn't matter if you don't go on together. So how would you guys feel about something if when you went on a ride, everybody has to hit the magic band, and if you are you hit your band and then the person your party, right, because you're all together on the app, if they're there with you, you cannot go single rider. You got to stay on the regular line.
I'm down. I mean, it doesn't bother.
That would work, or
I never thought about it. Sure, why not? If it would work, try it.
Yeah.
Because the single riders, I mean,
DVC or something, give them that perk that they can go through the single rider line. I don't know.
There's too many problems right now with all that stuff.
But it's not like every ride has a single rider line, so it's really not that big of a perk, but it's something.
They should offer a single rider on Rise.
Yeah, man, I agree that I think almost every ride should have it, just because, if there's just that one spot, it adds up. I mean, in Tower, yeah. you got three things going. And if you ever want to see how many people are truly in this park, when you're bored, look at your watch and do the math of how many people they're moving through this ride, because you'll be thinking and they still can't keep up. They're still over and out. So Tower Terror, 62 is 63 people. It's 21 per. So they're moving that many people, and they still can't keep up. And you do that on any ride.
Yeah, Pirates is moving 2,000 an hour, 2,100 an hour, something like that.
Yeah.
So think about that when you're there, and it's a 45-minute wait.
Exactly, and that just shows how many. I don't think people understand how many people are in these.
The magnitude, yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? It's Tim. Just here to remind you to check out our new website, quickdiztakes.com. We cover everything Disney, from our newest videos to our newest podcast, blog posts by contributors, and much more. And while you're there, do not forget to subscribe for the latest notifications on when new blog posts are posted and new videos go up. Of course, check out our YouTube page, Quick Diz Takes, and our Facebook page, Quick Diz Takes, along with Twitter at Quick Diz Takes for me, and at Palm Tree Skook for Sarah, Instagram at Quick Diz Takes Tim, and at Quick Diz Skook. And of course, if you like this, please like, share, and subscribe with friends. Thanks for listening, and now back to the show. All right, let's get on to our attractions here. We said we're going to have a short episode. It's going to be a long one. But that was good. That was good conversation. Definitely an issue right now with Disney. Is that those kind of things? So,
Imagineers, it's our ideas. Come find us. We're in New England.
Yep. I'll come down there and straighten you out. with the exception of the one idea Sarah had. We are not going to implement that one.
Look how much joy it brought to this group.
Unless you put a sign out front, you must be 18 or older to ride this ride. Then you can get,
That's not what I meant.
I hope not. Jesus.
Not in any
I know.
sense of the word. Oh, okay. I'm ready.
I've never heard it used in any other context, though. But anyway.
Let's get ready to rumble.
It's my favorite part of the show every week.
You're racking up your bill, Tim. Test track. Oh, Jungle Cruise.
All right. Who wants to start? Johnny wants to start.
Well, Jungle Cruise.
And why is that, Johnny?
I'm not a huge. I mean, even if it was the old test track, Jungle Cruise would still win, but it would have a better shot, in my opinion. I don't really like the new test track. And Jungle Cruise. I mean, I know they've changed Jungle Cruise, but from what I've seen, it's not. I don't think it really makes a huge difference from the changes that they have just made, especially like the newer animatronics. I think look better, and it's just that original attraction for the park. You get it's more personal because you have a skipper talking to you the whole thing. It's usually, you might hear the same jokes sometimes, but it's usually, you usually hear things that you haven't heard on any of the ride before. It's always something different. And it's not just, with that, it's not just like wait in a line, get on test track, I guess, is cooler with that interactive where you design your car, but even it's just something to do in the line because it really doesn't matter. You're all designed different cars, but you're in the same car that's doing this testing or whatever for your ride vehicle you made. But it's just wait in line, get in the car and go on the ride. At least the Jungle Cruise is like, it is something. It might be the same things you see, but it is different every ride.
And at least until Friday, it's not tied into a movie.
Yeah.
At least until Friday. I'm going to jump in. Jungle Cruise as well. Pretty much the same reasons Johnny said. Test track has never done anything for me, really. It's okay. It's not a bad attraction. It's just there. It takes forever to get on, even when there's not a long line because of designing your car and the way it's set up. I feel like even when you have a fast pass, you're looking at like 25 minutes to get on that ride. Maybe I guess it depends a little bit on how long the fast pass line is, but it just seems to take forever to get on that ride for me. So there'll be a lot of trips where there'll be most trips I won't even do it. I don't even know the last time, like when I was there with you guys, I didn't do it. Even after you guys left it, I was there for a long, I didn't do it. I didn't do this last one. I don't even know if I did it the one before. Just whatever. It's whatever to me. Get on it when you can, but it's bleh. Jungle Cruise, that's a whole different ball game. That's at least one ride a trip, if not more. And it has a skipper canteen, which is themed to it, which I like as well. So score one for Jungle Cruise for me. Sarah?
So I'll go next. I also would pick Jungle Cruise. I know as a kid, I was all about Test Track, and I agree with Johnny that I enjoy the original Test Track when you were the Test Track dummies. Crash Test.
Crash Test Dummies.
I think that was the band name. Anyway, but yes, the Crash
Great
Test.
band. Well, one great song.
So I feel like it was more when I was younger and I didn't have my license and I couldn't drive a car. It was so exciting, and it's the exact same ride, but now that I'm older, I'm just like, oh, okay. I do appreciate that it's an original idea. It's not tied into a movie. I may have some stuff about the Jungle Cruise opening in Disneyland red carpet stuff for the news later this week. But like I wasn't so excited by Jungle Cruise as a kid, and now I think the jokes are fantastic. They're nice and punny. They're right up my aisle. I feel like I've kind of flip-flopped. Like if you'd asked me this, like 10, 15 years ago, I would have said Test Track hands down. And now I'm like, nah, it's all about the Jungle Cruise. Because it's cheesy, but it's fresh. Do you know what I mean? Like they different jokes every time, like Johnny said. So I'm going 3 for Jungle Cruise.
Delightful. As dad and mom jokes on there. And guess what? We're all old enough to be dad and moms now, so we find them funny. Steven?
I'm going to go with Test Track.
Oh.
Here's why. Now, I agree with some of the critiques. I mean, because the ride could be more. It just could be more. It has a good idea, has a good platform. So, yeah, I go Test Track just because it's different.
Fair enough.
Jungle Cruise, I don't know, it's a little boring.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I can see why someone would say that. I mean, I can see when you bring someone, if you've ever brought somebody on Jungle Cruise for the first time, you always wonder like what they're gonna think.
I want to try it. I want to try it again. I think part of my problem was it was just way oversold. Like it was so oversold. It's not, I'll say a similar thing where I think people who like, say, Haunted Mansion need to be very careful on how we sell the Haunted Mansion, because I mean, I got on the ride expecting like things to jump out at me and so I just think that you have to think, not oversell. And Jungle Cruise was way oversold for me. And because it's a classic, I always got to go on it. It's the gotta go, can't miss it on any trip. It's like, oh, this must be a really good ride. Ended up being this person making super corny jokes, and I was like, okay, when's the fun gonna start? Like nothing's gonna happen, So I need to give it another. I freely admit I will give it another try. I believe in the rules of 3. Try a ride 3 times, and if you don't like it after that, then you're good. I mean, you don't like it.
It's that area of the park, I think. You can't Jungle Cruise, Tiki Room, it's just too much. Good thing they have Dole Whips over there. At least they can salvage. Yeah.
I mean, I think they're 2 very different rides too, though. Like Test Track is supposed to be more of a thrill ride, and Jungle Cruise it's like a top speed of grandma with her buggy at the supermarket. Like,
no, he's right though. Jungle, when you think of, I love Jungle Cruise, but when you think about it, it's a tough sell in some ways.
Plus, if it's a really hot day, I want to be in the AC. I mean, if it's a really, really hot, humid day, and so that can.
Although nowhere else in the world can I see the 8th wonder of the world, and so for that, Schweitzer Falls, named after Mr. Albert Falls, is always a pleasant experience for me. Anyway, let's get to the let's speed up a little here and get to Mr. Vin Diesel and the parks and originally, I don't know, a lot of people don't know about Vin Diesel. Originally a Shakespearean actor in his early days. No, probably one of the more. I don't even know. I like Vin Diesel, but like I don't hate him. But yeah, I think most people will agree he's not exactly the great. He's no Tom Hanks. Let's put it that way.
not a very diverse actor.
Yeah, he's kind of just there. But whatever. Sarah, what do you got for Vin Diesel?
So you picked the wrong person to start with because I went through his IMDb history and I have literally never seen a full movie that he's done.
I mean, it's not hard to believe. I mean, if you think about it.
I mean, I haven't sat through all of Endgame or Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm aware of the concept of the Fast and Furious 37 movie trilogy, like series. I don't know.
It's too fast and too furious for you. It's why.
It is. It's too much for me. So just kind of being silly about things, I was thinking you could take the Tomorrowland Speedway and you could trick out those little go-karts so they don't look so much like go-karts and they look like these, modified vehicles. Don't giggle at me. I can see you over there.
No, I'm laughing because Carrie texted me something. I'm going to say what it is in a minute. Go ahead.
Oh boy. But I was just kind of being silly, could do that. But I was also thinking we've been looking for a retheme to Rock and Roller Coaster, and we could kind of change the pre-show, change the theming a little bit, but you could keep it the same. And I mean, it's not very creative, but I've also never seen his movies. I'm sure he's a nice lad, but I was thinking either a reskin of Rock and Roller Coaster or just a silly little Tomorrowland Speedway, soup up those cars and let them go.
Okay. I'm going to share Carrie's suggestion because it was silly. Gave me a chuckle. He should be in the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse because one of his famous lines in Fast and the Furious is he's all about family.
I've seen a string of memes about family, and I was like, I don't understand.
And before I go on with what I'm going to say, I want to point out that they've already tried to put Vin Diesel in a theme park attraction. They haven't tried. They did it. And it is widely considered the worst theme park attraction of all time, at least in the standards of Disney and Universal go. And that is the Fast and the Furious. They get supercharged over there in Universal Orlando. And if anyone's ever been on it, it is absolutely horrible. I don't think I'm not really sure if it's any fault of Vin Diesel, but it is really, really bad. With that said, I'm going to solve the problem from our last discussion and make Test Track better and make it a Fast and Furious ride. Because let's face it took me almost no creativity to come up with this. We'll slap a Vin Diesel animatronic in a couple different spots right before the door and you blast out. Maybe even put him in the actual ride vehicle. We'll put him in the ride vehicle as a driver. And then we'll go on a crazy little Fast and the Furious adventure. And I think if you took practical sets and put them in where Test Track is now without even doing that much to it, it would already be like 20 times better than the Universal version, which is basically done on a slow-moving bus and 360 screens. With like, there's literally a scene where Vin Diesel's bigger than the helicopter he's swinging on. It's pretty bad. If anyone's interested, check it out on YouTube. It's horrific. But yeah, that's what I would do. Test Track. We'll change it to Fast and Furious. Sponsored by Chevrolet. Johnny.
I thought you could do. I don't know which. It would have to be I don't know where, but it'd have to be like a Spaceship Earth or like a Journey of the Little Mermaid or like Finding Nemo, like that type of where you're in the that type of ride. Not Haunted Mansion. I mean, Haunted Mansion's the same thing, but we're definitely not changing Haunted Mansion. But I do an Iron Giant. Why am I losing my train of thought? The Iron Giant, just a ride through, and use a mixture of animatronics. And I think this would be okay to use like the screens because of that animation style of that movie's kind of cool looking. So you could kind of, if you did both, like the background animation and the animatronics out in the front and a mixture, like even that like look of, compare it to like in the Rocketeer, like when they're showing that like how the jetpacks are going to be used, like that animation for your screens, just something different because it was the voice of the giant. So I guess something besides Groot or Fast and Furious.
What do you mean something besides Groot? It's the greatest performance of all time. What does someone get paid for that?
I just read this weekend that according to the director of Guardians,
James Gunn.
He said that on Vin Diesel's scripts for the I Am Groot line, it specifically said what the meaning of that line of I Am Groot
the
was,
context, yeah.
so he could say it in that
with like the right
motion, I guess.
Inflection.
So Vin Diesel and James Gunn know what
exactly.
Know what Groot is really saying, but it was just so he could adjust his.
So he worked really hard. Is what you're telling me?
Yeah. Those 3 words. You know, they had.
I can say like 100 different ways. I can be a cocky teen. I am Groot.
But,
I can be, you know.
Yeah.
He does do that in one of the movies. He's like when he's like a teenage Groot. He has like the cocky.
He's playing it looks like a Switch, but he's playing that video game, everything, the whole movie.
It is a funny movie though. All right, Steven, what you got for us?
So I had the same idea with Test Track. You know, he's driving. Maybe you're trying to find the best getaway car or something like that. So I had to come up with something different because you took my idea.
On the fly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's probably the most obvious, right? So I'll tell you what. He was in, the absolute classic movie. I mean, it may have been Oscar.
Oh Jesus, what is it gonna be?
I think it was The Pacifier. And so, I mean,
he wasn't Saving Private Ryan, which was a classic Oscar winner.
So I that popped in my head. I mean, he didn't have the biggest role, but so you could put his Saving Private Ryan character in like Toy Story, working with the plastic soldiers.
He would fit right in with their personalities.
But I was thinking of The Pacifier. So for anyone who's never seen that, first of all, why haven't you seen that movie? Like,
true.
What's the matter? Don't you like good classic movies? I mean, look, Casablanca, Uncle Buck, and The Pacifier. And that's kind of I think everyone agrees.
Casablanca to Uncle Buck. That's the one.
Good jump. And look, because I'm me, I have to find Candy reference in somewhere. Still miss him to this day. Best actor. So in the movie, he basically ends up he's like a special agent, whatever it is, and he has to end up protecting these kids, right? But in the movie, he becomes like Mr. Mom, right, to use an older term. So I think this could work in the parks. I mean, you basically have someone dressed like Vin Diesel, right? With in the picture of the movie poster is him with like the baby bag and the wipes. And I think he should like kind of go around. Here's a fruit punch, son or something. I don't know. He has a diaper, for later, whatever it is. Or they could have a changing station for kids, like so the parents can go in and change their. And then they kind of be like the theme of, they have some stuff there for you to help the parent out. It's God forbid you forget your wipes. I don't know, something to that effect. I don't know. I don't know if everyone can really word it better than me because I sound to myself, I sound like I'm not making a lot of sense.
What a terrible actor to even try to put in a park.
I know. What was wrong with us? What?
I don't know. It wasn't Boiler Room. If anyone's seen Boiler Room, that was a good movie.
All I know is if I get a vote, I would recommend John King.
Triple X. That one.
Something bad about.
I haven't seen a lot. I mean, he plays basically the same character. So he's always this special agent person, vendetta settling kind of guy. So you could probably make a ride on any of those.
Pitch Black was another one people liked.
Which one?
Pitch Black. But in all seriousness, if anyone wants to see a good one with a minute, and it's got Giovanni Ribisi in as well as Boiler Room is really, really good. He's got a role. He's on the cover, on the box cover and stuff, but he's not exactly the star of it, but he's in it. And Giovanni Ribisi is pretty much the star, but it's a really, really good movie. I think you'd like it. I think all you guys would like it. All right. We have done enough. We were trying to keep a nice half-hour episode, and here we are 3.5 hours later. So, yeah. So, yeah. Let's just discuss real fast before we go who we're going to be taking for next week's celebrity. Actually, Sarah's just sent me a list. We got Scarlett Johansson, Meryl Streep, Jennifer Lawrence, Angelina Jolie.
We did Meryl Streep.
Yeah, we did Meryl Streep. Yeah, that's right. Natalie Portman, Julia Roberts, Jennifer Aniston, Halle Berry, who we also did, didn't we?
We did Halle Berry.
Yep. Anne Hathaway, Charlize Theron, Emily Blunt, Nicole Kidman, or Emma Watson. And I vote Emily Blunt. But any other opinions on this? Mainly because she's in the release of Jungle Cruise this week.
She was also in Mary Poppins Returns.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna put her in Jungle Cruise next.
That's not.
Just gonna put
We're
her.
probably gonna go there anyway.
Just
I
gonna
love me some Emma Watson,
put her in the UK and France as a
but
meet
she
and greet.
was Belle, so that's the easiest place to put her.
So what do you want to do? Emma Watson, Emily Blunt. We want to do.
Wait, let me back up. SOS. Let me pull up that text again.
Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais. Well, yeah, we're gonna. I like that. Well, we're gonna keep it. I guess we're gonna go actress this week.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, so now we're on Jennifer Lawrence. All right, let's do Jennifer Lawrence. She doesn't have too much Disney affiliation, so it keeps it a little easier, a little more creative.
Jennifer Lawrence, that one where she was the Russian.
Jennifer Lawrence. She was a Russian.
She was like some sex.
Oh yeah. That
thing.
one. It didn't do that well though, right?
No, that was like the last movie she made.
That was the last movie she made?
That was one of the last ones she made with that.
Yeah.
She was like a spy or something.
Did it ruin her career?
I don't know. I know she got married after. I don't know if she might be pregnant. I don't even know.
I can't think of the name of that movie, but I know what you're talking about.
Red Sparrow? Is that what it was called?
Sparrow.
Yeah.
Red Sparrow.
Kind of flopped.
I was unaware this movie even existed.
But, I've seen some scenes in it. She's
Not marketed to me, apparently.
She's quite the actress.
All right. All right, so we're getting out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good week. Johnny, Sarah, have fun on your trip to Disney. Also,
It's
happy
still on
11th,
the news.
happy 11th anniversary as well.
Thank you.
I did not mention that at the top of the show. I know it's been 11 years. It only feels like a day because it's been so magical. And all right, we'll see you guys next week. Take care.